Am I going to read the ad today?
Uh-oh. Hello, everyone. It's a dose of Dr. Drew.
Susan, I have no sound coming through to my ears, but
that's probably Caleb's fault.
that's all fine. So maybe
Well, it's just my voice, so don't you fret, little boy.
Plugged. But it's all good. It's all good. Welcome everybody.
We've only been sitting here an hour and didn't know that, but
yes, everyone, pretty much everyone on the thread is already where my head is at. Is that we're here to blast it out, as Monica Ricci says to Leo. There we are. I'm in now.
I wonder if he has Wi-Fi in the hospital.
Or if he feels up to it. But he's last. I wonder if anybody has any updates for me. Last he and I spoke, he was doing okay. Anyone have any updates?
Aww.
And again, I don't think Leopold is here.
Oh no!
What's the matter?
Fresh said his wife isn't happy because he stopped White Christmas for the video.
Oh, for this stream? I'm sorry, Fresh. Go back to White Christmas.
How many White Christmases has everybody had? I want to know how many, because that is Drew's favorite, right? Isn't it? Or A Wonderful Life.
It's Wonderful Life. That's different.
What's White Christmas?
White Christmas is a Bing Crosby movie about
that
an
one's
inn,
good too.
Or maybe that's Holiday Inn. I get confused with those, but I don't.
So we have a couple of new ads I'm going to pull up. I didn't have time because I wanted to get to this before you go to Fox tonight. So
yeah.
We're very happy to have seed.com/Dr. Drew as our sponsor now. Use the code Dr. Drew 2020 and, of course, Hydrolite. And we have new productions we'll share during
Susan,
the show.
the
Oh, and then, of course,
get the light on.
Drew's favorite thing, his new toy. Everyone needs one for the holidays.
This is me.
The iWand. Go to drdrew.com/iWand. Use the code Dr. Drew 15. Hopefully you can get one in your friends' Christmas stockings pronto.
Exactly. So I wondered if anybody has any updates on Leopold for me, if anyone can provide anything. Last I heard he was doing rather well. I was glad. I don't know how much we can really talk about here unless somebody tells me, gets direction from Leopold.
Joe said he was in the hospital. He said ER. He said that his fiance has it too, and I posted this on Locals so everybody could see it. Anyways, apparently Kristen's son Teddy sent a really cute video too. So
nice.
He's in the hospital. I mean, I guess that's the best. His coughing's getting worse, but the fever's lower and his saturation O2 is higher so far today.
Oh, great! Where'd you hear that from?
Joe.
Okay, so Joe gave us an update. So that's, I assume, straight from Leo. He's got a couple other medical problems that sort of put him at somewhat risk, and I'm really glad. I see you're on here too. I was relieved when they decided to hospitalize him because he's in a category where I think then, plus he was desaturating a little bit. Now my question to Dr. Yo, who I know on the thread here, should he be getting ivermectin? Or since he's in the moderate category, is he more Regeneron, Lilly, and or maybe the remdesivir plus the other monoclonal antibody? What do you think? The bamlanivimab, I think it's called, that goes with the remdesivir. Yeah, all the mabs.
It sounds like a Bill Cosby skit.
It's really funny. It's true. So, what do you think? What are your opinions on that? I think if he had not been hospitalized, personally, I think ivermectin would have been a nice choice for him had he not been sufficiently ill to be hospitalized. But once you've got cumulative medical problems, you're in the moderate category, I think then, personally, I think if it were me, I'd want to get the Regeneron or the Lilly product at that point. But let's see if Yo may not be listening to me because he's often doing anesthesia while we are. And I understand also, Yo, get the ivermectin.
He's putting
and
a
the
needle in
Regeneron.
somebody's back right now. And
He is hospitalized though, Yo. And so that's why I'm saying not the ivermectin so much. But I saw that you had an emergency crash case with COVID today. How did you protect yourself? And Michelle, the HIPAA, that's why I was asking about what I can talk about. But Joe has been communicating with Leopold and given specific directions in terms of giving an update. So
I
that's
have to
from
ask
Leopold.
Caleb a question because he's in here working on the lights. When I download the video ads, where do they go?
To your downloads folder.
Downloads. Oh, ads? Yeah. Is it in the ads folder?
I have it in a bunch of folders, but if you download it, it'll be in your downloads folder.
No, they're Okay, keep going, Drew. Sorry.
If you look at the numbers, if you go to COVID Tracking Project, you will see the United States is plateauing rather nicely. However, it's such a high level, it's hard to get used to these numbers. California continues on sort of it's kind of plateauing, but if it doesn't take a sharp turn down, it's a lot of people getting sick in California. Yet still, in terms of per capita, we're only at 75 per 100,000. If you look at the U.S. data overall, now I'm looking at the overall, you can see pretty clearly that there's a plateau forming, but it's a plateau forming at lots of daily cases, like in the order of 200,000 cases a day. It's turned down in the last couple of days to 190,000, and the hospitalizations, importantly, have plateaued as well. Death rate is down, but still, up. It's down from where it was, and we'd sure like to see this present outbreak to turn around. And one of my pet theories is that the virus does what it does to a certain extent. To some extent, it's hard for us to do anything that makes that much of a difference in terms of how the virus behaves. Yes, masks, yes, distancing, all these good things. But in terms of where the virus goes, it almost has its own ecology to it. So it's a very strange thing. I don't think we're going to really understand it fully until we're looking back. Joe says he has not had direct contact with Leopold, Susan. So where did you get all that info?
He sent it to me.
Okay.
Not direct contact with him. He said he was going to post this. I don't know who he got it from. Maybe he got somebody else. Let me see. He didn't.
Rory is having some tramadol withdrawal. Yeah, tramadol. That's true. It's like SSR and opiate at the same time. That's essentially how the drug works. But it's mostly the opiate withdrawal that you get. Has the CDC approved hydroxychloroquine? No, nor ivermectin per se. But physicians are at their liberty to use any medicines they please if they think it's going to benefit the patient. At least that's the way medicine was always practiced throughout human history. It's weird that in some states, all of a sudden, you can't get access to certain medicine because people have made sort of political decisions about what medicines are okay and what medicines aren't, which is very, very... Well, Sherry, the FDA has approved hydroxychloroquine. It's been used for 35 years. I've used it hundreds of times. But for this application, I'm not sure it has been approved, meaning for mild COVID-19. Okay. Just looking back at your guys' questions. Andrew says, Berenson going off on Twitter about the vaccine. Yeah, I saw that, and I humbly disagree. He has a point. It's not completely irrelevant what he's saying, and I always believe that sort of criticism should be addressed and responded to. It's how medical literature works. If you look at a medical magazine, there's the papers, and then there's the letters to the authors, and then the author's response. That's how we do things. Can I talk a little about the FDA process with COVID vaccine facts while talking with people's questioning its validity safety? I'm not quite sure what you mean, Jason, except to say that there's been they pushed on and they made it rather quick. I think, Andrew, if I remember right, Berenson was making an issue of the allergic reactions or maybe it was the Bell's palsy or something, but it was really not. He also was taking issue with the number of people that got COVID who'd taken the vaccine, if I remember right. And listen, the vaccine's not 100% effective. It's 95% effective, which is amazing as a vaccine. So the fact that somebody got COVID who took the vaccine is not in any way meaningful. Yeah, Patrick is saying we need more safety committees and lawyers to review the safety. Okay. And the fact of the matter is the process of approval, process of development and approval was essentially the same as it is for any vaccine. It's not as though there's something different that happened this time. It was just that the production was continued at the same time. The different phases, different things that usually are done sequentially were all done in parallel. That's really what was different about this. And the vaccine was extremely effective straight off the top. Some of the times the vaccine takes a while because they have to try different types. They have to get the doses adjusted to find out how to get it to optimum effect without side effect. Was I on Frenemies today? No, I was not. Maybe tomorrow. It's a podcast that I have to do. All right. Okay, Andrew. He was upset that they weren't more transparent about people getting the second dose of the vaccine having worse symptoms than the COVID. I get that point, right? And so if you're 25 years old, let's say, and you have the second vaccine and it makes you sick for 4 days with fever and aches and in bed, that's probably a worse illness than you would have gotten from COVID at that age. But I'm not so sure. I'm not super enthusiastic about 20 and 30-year-olds getting this vaccine anyway. They'd have to really want it for me to be encouraging them to get it. It's meant for people that are older, at risk, healthcare workers, that sort of thing, where A, the dose of exposure is going to be massive, or B, you're in a risk category where the consequences of the illness are worse than the vaccine. So, again, I would take on Barrington on that issue. Can someone who gets the vaccine get the virus, infect someone who's in the house who didn't get the vaccine? Apparently not. Good question, though. Joe, I've been texting Leopold during the day, and he's allowed me to provide updates to everyone. Okay, so that's what I meant. So somebody asked about HIPAA, and Joe has been given...
That was Joe.
Yeah,
told you.
Joe has been given specific...
He said he posted on Locals. So
that's right. That's fine.
Don't worry. I'm not outing him.
I know. Let's being straight and upfront by all this. Yeah, there could be. Flipping Birdies is worried about the evictions when the eviction moratorium ends, and we're all worried about that. We don't know what's going to happen with that. That, in the face of them not really coming up with a legislative policy to help people out yet. Over 75 vaccine not tested a lot. I don't know what that means. The vaccine is to prevent a serious coronavirus infection. Yes. Is Leopold high risk? Leopold has some medical problems that puts him at added risk. Anybody have any? And I wish I could, give you more details, but I really wouldn't feel comfortable doing it without his sort of specific guidance. Okay, I'm just looking at your guys' stuff here. We really came on just to give everyone an update that Leopold's doing fine, which is what I'd expect him to do. I mean, think about the stats on this. Even with his medical problems, his probability of recovery is 95%. 95%. His risk of having more serious COVID is about 12 to 16%. I'll still take those odds rather. Alex was saying there was not tested 75 and over population as much as young people. That is true. That is true. And again, these are all things that the vaccine researchers should be addressing. And the fact that he's raising these questions are good questions and shouldn't be looked at as condemnation of the vaccines. Have I heard about a new strain in the UK? I have not. Cancer and HIV. Natalie, I don't know where you're going with that. There's a lot of different cancers associated with HIV. Is it true vitamin D helps? Jeremy, yes, it looks like. If you want to see a nice review of that, go to YouTube. John Campbell, he's a nurse, and he reviews his currently available data on things like zinc and vitamin D. There's some nice little lectures there. Daughter's 31, who's a surgical assistant. And yes, she should take it, unless they're not allowing COVID into the operating rooms there. But healthcare workers should take it even when they're young. They don't have to, I don't think, but they should. Again, they're going to be exposed to potentially large amounts of the virus and frequent exposures. And so there's some evidence, some concern that increases the risk of more severe illness.
Okay, I have to test something really quick.
Okay.
Fix the sound. I don't think I can do it. I can't put it in.
Well, I too have struggled with GI issues over the years.
I
don't
hear
something
it.
called Lynch
I know.
syndrome. So gut health is extremely important to
blurry.
me. And while gut health awareness has increased, it's
little
led
bit.
to a wellness trend that's
I can't
inspired
do
a host of
one more thing.
questionable marketing and some
wait,
false
no,
claims. Now, you've seen the word probiotic attached to all kinds of supplements, drinks, even more. They may claim to deliver the
Okay,
healthy
there we go. Look.
microorganism. Well, I
Okay.
too have struggled.
Blink.
Okay.
Okay, there's one.
Anthony, I see you're getting close to the vaccine. That's great. I'll happily. I guess my guidance is that you have to be on staff in some manner at the hospitals where it's being distributed. So unless I can come join hands with you and get the vaccine at the Orange County Hospital you're going to, I'm going to be stuck at the hospital where I've worked. Will ivermectin be considered by the FDA? Who's going to spend the money to do that test? It costs about $500 million to get a drug through the FDA. Who's going to do that? Really, it's the kind of thing more where the medical literature may, people will do research on it, and doctors will individually make decisions about whether or not to use that drug. Again, think about the getting through a drug through the FDA is an unbelievably difficult process, and it's unbelievably expensive. And I can't imagine that the ivermectin manufacturers are that interested in doing this. They might. Michelle, my colonoscopy is Wednesday, so we'll see how that goes. I don't believe it's been around long enough to see the long-term effects of both vaccine. That's true, and the antibodies. That is true, and that's why if you're a younger person, you might want to hold out until some of the more traditional vaccines get done. Andrew wants to know if I'll be allowed to do my COVID-19 vaccine live. My news agency that I work for is asking the same question, and it's going to be in a hospital.
Does it have to be in your butt?
No, in your arm. But I don't know how that's going to work.
Okay, I'm going to fix the sound on this too. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
I'm trying to find a way to do it with that behind the scenes, but it's impossible.
It is officially winter, and even though we're all taking precautions, it is high cold and flu season.
So weird. It's
Staying hydrated properly is key to helping your body deal with all this stress, and nothing has worked better for myself. Hydrolite, the amazing rapid rehydration drink mix.
Look at how good he looks. Meow.
Womp womp. Okay, so I'm right now writing an email to Eric Johnson. He's a reporter at an anchor at KOME in Seattle. He's the one that did that documentary "Seattle is Dying," and he has a new documentary out it's something like "Struggle for the Soul of Seattle." And I want to get him on the show here and interview him, so you guys can get to know him. He looked into what's going on. And guess what? There's no disagreement amongst anyone who knows anything about what's going on in the streets about what this is and what we need to do about it.
So I want to figure out where this FBI criminal profiler and author John Douglas from Mindhunter and his new book Killer Shadow suggestion came from, because we booked him for Wednesday, but I want to do something more fun on Christmas Eve, or Christmas. Yeah. Josh Flagg might sing little Christmas ditties with Drew. So I don't know. What would you rather hear? Drew singing on Christmas with Josh Flagg, or a FBI criminal profiler? I mean, that sounds interesting to me, but maybe after Christmas.
And while you answer that, let me respond to Izzy. Why ZZ? Why? This is a question that I find confusing. I get all the time. He's asking, do you consider celebrity rehab exploitative? A, ask the patients. Ask those people that were treated if there was exploitation. A. B. That was our traditional treatment process, and every person that came out of that program not only felt good about the treatment, wanted to be an example for other people. Where is the exploitation? If this had been a show about appendicitis, we showed an appendicitis and people got better. Why brain disorders are treated differently is shaming, and it's stigmatizing. How dare you stigmatize people like that? It's not exploitation to show medical problems and medical treatment that people consent to help other people. How is that exploitative? And again, the objects of that exploitation would certainly feel that way. And so I would ask the patients, ask them, ask Tom Sizemore, ask any of the people we worked with. Ask Jenny Ketchum, who's just right now working on the forward for her new book. She's a social worker in Seattle now, or I think she came back down here. But that is the point.
Did she really?
If you treat the treatment of brain disorders any differently than any other body part, you are shaming people and you are stigmatizing them. We show shows and hospital shows and surgical shows all the time, but psychiatric shows, oh no, we can't do that. We can't do that. That is awful. And again, showing the treatment and allowing us to look at it. That's how people learn about it. That's also how we decrease the threshold to people coming into treatment so they understand what it is. Ask Anthony. What's that? Anthony Brown, you want to make a comment about that? Go right ahead. Okay, what studies show symptomatic and pre-symptomatic COVID virus? If they don't, why are healthy people required to wear masks? People are arguing about that, but we think more the pre-symptomatic people are the ones that... the pre-symptomatic people are the ones that are probably producing the virus and not the asymptomatic so much. Why is no one talking about xylitol nasal spray? Xylitol nasal spray and betadine nasal spray. Both. I spoke to a researcher and a manufacturer today of the betadine spray for oral spray and nasal spray. I'm going to use it twice a day from now on. It looks like xylitol and betadine and even sometimes saline can literally prevent this infection from taking hold. So I am very much behind the xylitol and the betadine. Doxycycline beneficial for COVID. It is a class of medicine that has been shown to disrupt viral replication. So I do believe it is effective, probably more so than azithromycin, which is the one we use a lot of. Okay. All right.
All righty then.
All right.
Okay, so what was the outcome between the FBI guy and the gay real estate guy singing Christmas tunes?
What? Oh, no one answered. No one seemed interested in
Nobody
either.
listens to me. It's okay. It's fine. I feel you guys.
Damayanti, I don't think neti pot has been shown to be useful, but it might be. Again, it's an oral wash and a nasal spray or nasal swab. Really, the data, there was a JAMA article just recently. It looked very good. In fact, I think I've got it up here.
Somebody asked if you've had your colonoscopy.
Wednesday, good times.
So we have an incredible whirlwind 48 hours coming up because of Dr. Drew not being able to schedule himself correctly.
This was September 17, 2020. Efficacy of povidone nasal antiseptic for rapid inactivation of SARS-2. So there you go, SARS-CoV-2. That is September 17th to 2020. And it looked good. It looks really good. I mean, why not? There's no downside. Yeah, and these are not easy concentrations to come by. You have to have them specially manufactured. Okay. That's really funny. Anthony Brown, you want to be in the room during my colonoscopy? Yes, and Monica Ricci likes the drugs during the colonoscopy.
Me too.
I get Rudy, what you're asking about cardiomyopathy? What is your ejection fraction? That really is what determines the prognosis. Is ketamine still used as an anesthetic? It is for adolescents in an emergency room sometimes, or historically it has been certainly.
So Joe thinks that I should keep the feed on again after the show. I can't because he's doing Fox tonight, but I have to talk to everybody who's on YouTube. Don't text me at 9:00 at night and tell me that my feed is still live because you're on it. If you don't get off of it, it ain't going to stop. And people are trying to come on and watch the show, and they can only watch you guys chatting. So it's okay.
So wait, maybe explain. If people keep chatting, then the thing doesn't upload, and then no one can watch what we've just done.
Right, until you guys get off.
Until you
I know
finish
you're
your
having fun. I don't
conversations.
really care. We actually had more views than usual because people are coming on and off, and they probably have to watch twice. But yeah, if you guys keep talking and you go, hey, it hasn't ended, and people want to watch it, everybody's got to clear out of the chat room and do it whenever. I don't care. But my computer's completely off, and I'm downstairs on the couch having a drink. So just you guys enjoy it as long as you want, but don't worry.
Okay.
It'll stop.
Andrew Ashkasvili, I did not see the meta-analysis, which I'm surprised. I read JAMA regularly. What did it show? This is a asymptomatic transmission in a large meta-analysis. Probably showed there isn't much of it, I'm going to bet. And Chris got upset at a school board meeting today, apparently. Tell us what happened.
Oh, no.
Yes, good for you for fighting it out, fighting the good fight.
I think they should get all the mothers therapists
so
for free.
Rom 017, So the question on people's mind is the question you're asking here is what is their vaccine made quickly with a new technology, the mRNA vaccine? Are we likely to see problems 5-10 years down the line? I don't see how. I mean, I don't see how. I mean, you never know. And biology is so complicated. I'm sure there's something that could happen, which is why I usually advise younger people to. Okay, so Andrew confirms that the asymptomatic transmission and meta-analysis is not much at all. So there you go. But I'm encouraging younger people not to get the newer vaccines. I'm encouraging them to wait till the more traditional vaccines are available, which is about on schedule for when they'll be available for you anyway. And take those. And don't, because these newer vaccines, if they're going to have trouble, it's going to be way down the line. And that's, if people are older, they may not live long enough for all those side effects. David says, KOMO doc on homelessness, the fight for the soul of Seattle. Yes, that's what I was talking about. And I'm trying to interview the creator of that, who's a KOMO anchor, reporter. Okay. Hi, Twitch. How are you guys? GSR wants the Moderna vaccine. I would be happy with the Moderna vaccine myself. Okay. All right. We just wanted to come on briefly tonight. We were coming on late. Obviously, we wanted to all support Leopold and sort of give Joe's updates of him doing better, which is great. And of course, as you know, it's a good sign when they do as they continue to do well. They're often let home very quickly. 18% are symptomatic, 0.7% are asymptomatic. I'm not quite sure what those numbers are, Andrew. Yes, the fight for the soul of Seattle and Seattle is dying. Same guy. Dr. Corey seems to suggest that ivermectin should be used as a prophylactic agent. I know there is enthusiasm for that. I don't see it yet. I just don't quite see it. But there is enthusiasm for that, and it may be a good idea. But how would you then, I'm not quite sure how I'd prescribe it. Would I be giving a single dose every time somebody came in contact or was in a high-risk situation? And then what if you got the illness? Do I end the ivermectin at that point? It's very confusing. Yeah, kids need to be back in school, Chris. We were with you on that. Currently positive and asymptomatic, Monica's son. That's interesting. Uh-oh. All right, Izzy says 48 milligrams of, I can't see what, and 40 milligrams methadone. Third batch of rounds, one doctor to show proof results. Most are selling Dilaudid for money. I'm not quite sure what you're saying. That sentence didn't quite fit together.
It's hard to text fast.
Dawn wants to know, how did me and Joe wait a minute. How did Drew and Joe know? How did Drew know Joe had COVID the second he had a fever? It was not Joe, it was Leopold. Joe did not have thankfully did not have COVID. Leopold, the reason Leopold was convinced Leopold had COVID is it was a little ferocious in its onset. And that's kind of the way COVID can be in people with certain medical risk factors. And I was not actually convinced he had it 100%. In other words, I wasn't prepared to help him with any medications that are for COVID. I told him you have to be diagnosed first and let the people that are treating you treat you. Let them make some good decisions, which they did. Jason wants to know, why is being a sociopath bad? Is because they hurt other people. When you treat people like objects, ends to a means, you harm other people. They can be very entertaining and They can be fun to be around, but they will hurt you and not think or feel anything about it.
That's true. So anyways, we just got a nice little, I got a nice little text from Dr. Yo. You said he's probably busy, but here he is.
He's busy, right? He had a crash COVID case in the operating room today while he was doing anesthesia. I don't know if it was in his room or not.
Look how cute he looks.
But he looks adequately covered for against COVID.
Is he single?
I believe so.
He is? I
believe so. Who do you want to set him up with now? How do you know if someone you love is a sociopath? If they seem unable to empathize, if they have no empathy and only see you as something that he or she can get. Men tend to be more sociopathic than females, can get things from. What do you think of the LA buying expensive sheds to fight homeless? Tom Cigar, it's better than the 750,000 sheds. They were buying apartments for $750,000 a unit. Now they've got the sheds down to $150,000 a unit. The problem is not the space or the money. We have tons of space and tons of money, but no legal ability to help these people. They have brain diseases that make them not want help, and you're not allowed to do anything. That's the reason we have such a problem in Los Angeles. Crazy. All right, let's kind of wrap things up, Susan, shall we? Anything you want to say? Anything else?
And who do we have coming up? I don't have a banner yet. Did you send me the banner for Melissa yet? Yeah. Oh gosh.
Melissa Rivers on Wednesday?
Yeah, I want to have a picture of that up. I'm sorry. I had to go to the dentist and I had to go to the doctor, and then we're redoing the lights, and I didn't get everything set up in advance. So let me get the banner first. You keep talking.
Okay.
They don't want you.
Izzy as or YZZ at Y. This is a safe supply. Fentanyl addicts get daily dilaudid in hopes of raising methadone, so fentanyl doesn't work, then taper the other way. Yeah, when you do programs like that, you don't really understand what addiction is, because what will happen in programs like that is people will begin diverting their medication. They'll use other drugs. It just doesn't work like that. It's just not how addiction works. Fortunately, we found sort of a decent half measure with Suboxone. Some people it really helps and gets them down reasonably reliably. But even then, what I find in these people on Suboxone maintenance is they're using other drugs, because the addiction is still going. The opiate addiction is sort of squashed, but the addictive biology still operates if you don't treat it. So there you go.
Okay, I don't have the banner, but Melissa Rivers will be joining us on Wednesday after your colonoscopy, and we'll have a little cameo from Josh Flagg. He'll be calling in to see how you're doing while he gets his chemical peel on his face. And then hopefully he'll come on Christmas Eve or the 23rd.
And Anthony Brown, I'm wondering if you agree with me what I was saying about these half measures. I know you struggled with addiction for all those years. Imagine if they'd put you on Dilaudid or some psychostimulant as opposed to getting sober.
And one more good thing we have on Monday the 21st, which is next Monday, Rob Schneider is going to join us.
Oh, who moved out of California. He just got out of here. Boom.
So I called him. He's coming. And then, I don't know, we're filling in some slots here. I'm just trying to make sure Drew's not over. I mean, hopefully Drew will be able to do the Melissa Rivers Ask Dr. Drew next Wednesday.
You may be doing the interview, Susan.
Yeah.
No, YZZY, harm reduction is a thing in America. It's just not done as aggressively as some other places. Harm avoid is absolutely a thing. But you're right. I'll tell you what happens here. We get weirdly judgmental and moralistic. Like one of the ideas I like is a wet house, a place where alcoholics can go and drink while they get medical care and psychological services and motivational enhancement therapy, so people can kind of get them hopefully to the point where they want to stop drinking. And maybe not. At least they're monitored carefully. And people get weird about that one. They just get weird. But they are happy for people to take Suboxone. It's weird. It's very weird. And so YZZY in principle, I don't mind what they're doing with the fentanyl and the Dilaudid and stuff. It's just too dangerous and it's not going to work. That's my problem. But the principle, why not give heroin addicts heroin? In principle, if you're going to, why not just give them heroin? That's what they like, and taper that down, or not, or just let them use it safely. If we're going to be doing all these replacement therapies, why not just give them what they want? It just, to me, and then again, same thing as with the wet houses, work on their motivation, work on their insight, help break down some of the denials. Maybe.
So here's the mug update. I have somebody emailed me, Wendy, yesterday. She says, I would love to help with the design of the new 2021 Dose of Dr. Drew banner. And she's apparently she works from some really big icons in the business. I'm not going to say because she didn't want me to. But anyway, she's super cool. She's working on it. It'll come this week. So we're not rushing as fast. We're going to have a new and improved Dose of Dr. Drew banner and lots of swag to go.
A little discussion going on here about replacement therapies or harm avoidance therapies. Someone said about supervised use of meth and heroin. The only problem with that, in principle, okay, but the only problem with that is the meth damages brain over time and makes people so psychotic. There's no way they would sort of stay in the program. You guys using Ambien, carfentanil, butyfentanyl. Oof. Again, these are dangerous combos, man. Really dangerous. But if they're these are, I'm really not interested in that. I was interested in seeing addicts go from struggling or dying to better than they ever knew they could be. Taking somebody from struggling and dying to kind of intoxicated and stable, okay, but I'm not personally not interested in that. I am familiar with Dr. Gundry, Hey Lagaba, whatever your name is.
Hey Lagaba.
Yeah.
Sounds like a song.
They want a Susan Flask.
Has to be a wine glass, I think.
Good job. Is it Izzy? Is that the name? Good for you. Excellent. Well done. Whatever works, as they say. And again, I have no problem with people switching from heroin to cannabis to whatever, but it tends to be, ultimately you got to deal with the problem. Anthony, you never answered my question. What do you think about these replacement therapies? Or what would have happened if somebody had given you one, a psychostimulant or carfentanil or something, these things that are being advocated?
So we've had a really good group of people hanging out at locals.com. If anybody wants to join the sort of cool guys.
Yeah.
The Dr. Drew cool guys.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
That's the link. You can go to drdrew.locals.com and join. It's $7 a month, and you can get the inside information. Sometimes we'll put stuff behind the wall. I'm going to put some great photos and videos of Drew and Josh Flagg singing show tunes for you. And
okay, Susan, you got to go quick because I got to catch up with what they're saying here.
Drew's got to go to Fox too.
No, I got to catch up with the thread. So
okay.
Anthony, you did answer. Abstinence should always be the goal if possible. I agree with you on that.
There's a super chat.
And then Nicole asked an interesting question. How do you respond when people say healthcare workers are so tired? I get a little. I get a little bit. I wouldn't say confused, but concerned about that. Are they saying that the patient to staff ratio is not normal? That they're asking nurses to cover more patients than is safe? No one has ever said that. So if you work in an ICU, it's always hard. Now, maybe people are working extra hours and it's extra stressful because you have to wear all that gear, and it's extra stressful because you're seeing people alone that can't visit with their family. That's extra stressful. But it's not as though they're seeing more patients than they normally would, because that's dangerous. And hospitals don't allow that to happen. So when they say they're filling up, what they're saying is we don't have enough staff to keep patient-to-staff ratios safe. No one has yet passed that point because they have find ways to flex staff up. And maybe one of the ways they do that is asking people to do extra shifts. And that, of course, makes you tired. But that, again, becomes problematic as well. Not so safe, and so they have to watch that very carefully. So it's not as though it's not unusual. I mean, if you're working in the ER or the ICU, it's always like that. So I get a little bit concerned when people are reporting this. I'm not quite sure what they're necessarily talking about.
Did I miss you answering the spirulactone question?
No, where's that?
It's up here. Spirulactone for PCOS, acne, and mild HBP. Read it may help with COVID because of targeting the androgens, ACE2, etc. Hypothesis article on NIH.
I did hear an article. There is something about the androgen receptor that is involved in essentially the uptake of the ACE receptor when it's bound with the virus. I'd heard that spironolactone may have some benefit there, but I've never heard any more about it. That was a while ago, so I don't know.
I take that.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So I don't grow a big beard on my face.
That's right. We ever have Corolla on After Dark? Probably not.
We never asked him, though.
Yeah, Liz, I am tired today. Thank you for noticing. I am a little tired today.
Yeah, and he's going to have a killer day tomorrow. I'm worried about him. Thank you. He doesn't look tired to me, but you did get up early. I always look tired. No, you don't. We're putting in new lights, so.
Yeah, the light keeps changing.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out the lighting so it doesn't pick up on his glasses.
Christopher is talking about his mom in Poland. Remember we talked about that
Yes.
yesterday, and we calmed the family down. They were scared to death. That's good. We really appreciate it. Keep her panic under control. Panic makes things worse. I don't know why we don't understand that in this country, but that is always true.
Joshua wants to know what I take. Spironolactone. Spironolactone. See, I can tell.
Quiz
It's
Chris.
because I'm taking testosterone and it gives you a beard and it also thins your hair. And if you take spironolactone,
Spironolactone.
Spirolactone.
Spirolactone.
That stuff.
Yeah, with Chris, Corolla doesn't hate your taste in power tools. He's a power tool snob, and he was sniping at your power tools
What
for
did
being
you
cheap.
do? Oh,
She had you put the manufacturer down there.
It's
I can't even remember what it was.
Upmanship.
It's like Sears versus Makita or something.
You can't beat Adam in anything.
Yeah.
Don't even try, Chris. Believe me.
Well, she wanted to have a lively, nice conversation with him. Of course, he just immediately.
Remember when we had him here? He had a show here, and they were in our pool house and talking to Frenchie, and
Oh yeah.
and he was like, he goes, "Don't tear up the cement. Just put concrete over it." And I said, "I'm definitely pulling up the cement. It'll be cheaper." And I pulled all the cement out. So you just have to learn.
Joe,
Don't
on
listen.
Fox 11 tonight, we're going to be talking a lot of vaccine and a lot of. People have lots of questions about the vaccine. Should you take it if you've had COVID? Should you take it if you're pregnant? Should you take it if you're breastfeeding? Should you take it if you're younger, if you're older? Which one should you take? People get very, very confused.
I wonder what Rob Schneider is going to say.
You guys he's not going to take it. Rob is an anti-vaxxer full on. So
At least he's willing to come back on the show after we all had our asses handed to us in January.
yeah.
It was very hard. I asked him, I go, how's Arizona? And he's like,
13-year-old with
Here.
disabilities, weak immune system, would I vaccinate? Ask his pediatrician. Probably not. Probably not. It's not been approved for that age group yet. So
I actually, I'm very pro vaccination for myself, clearly, and you. But after listening to Dr. Victory and hearing her say, that she wouldn't take it, and thinking like, well, if 30% of people that get it, that are supposed to get it, are protected, then the rest of us can just get the COVID-19 and live through it, right? Like, it's not necessary for everybody.
that's correct. That's true.
I mean, it made me look at it differently. I don't particularly care if I get the vaccine. I want you to, because you're pro. You also see patients, and you get around a lot more than I do.
Okay.
I'm not afraid of it. I don't get sick, and I'm taking spironolactone, so that's going to help me. I don't know. I agree. Not everybody has to have it. It's not going to be mandatory, right?
It's not clear yet is the problem. I'm still looking up what age. I think it's 16 is the age that the cutoff right now for the vaccine. Do you guys know that? Anybody?
I mean, if you're going to be around elderly people who might get it and die, probably a good chance that you should, go take it.
I'm on a local Fox News broadcast, not Fox News, Fox 11, which is Family Guy, Simpsons, that kind of Fox.
Don't worry.
And that'll be at 7:00 tonight Pacific time. Shoot.
I'll show you the banner so you know for sure.
You gonna do it?
Mm-hmm. Hold on. Here it is. With Alex Michelson, the hardest working newscaster in the business. He's on 24 days a week, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But he's a good newscaster, Drew, right?
He is. He's excellent.
You guys are good friends.
We are good to we are good to each other, and we're good with each other.
I know you miss each other, and
I know.
we were going to take him a mic for Hanukkah, and then they shut you out of the studio.
I know.
Oh, now I got to send it or something, maybe.
All right.
Okay, there you
I wasn't watching the thread. Did anybody answer me on what the age is? 16? Yeah, okay. Mary Jo Stewart says 16. I think that's right. Diana and Adam does know his stuff when it comes to tools. That's for sure. Do I agree the vaccines are just a quicker way to get to herd immunity? Well, that's what the vaccines are for, right? That's the idea.
Deborah just texted
That's
me.
the ultimate, to protect
Aw.
individuals and to get us, the population, to herd immunity.
Deborah Simon just sent me a pan of latkes and said,
Oh,
Happy Hanukkah.
That's fine. 53-year-old mother with COPD. Should she get the vaccine? David, she's in the middle zone there. She probably won't have access to it for several months at least 3 months, I suspect anyway. It's really over 65, really over 75 that we're trying to get vaccinated. Yes, Wendy King, I must get vaccinated. I'm very much looking forward to it. I can't wait to get this behind me and to not worry about it. I've not heard about the new strain of COVID in UK, nor do I understand what the strange illness was in India. Both these things seem to be sort of non-events. 3 physicians. Dora works for 3 physicians, family medicine, who won't be getting the vaccine anytime soon. Well, they won't be getting it soon if they don't work in a hospital. But you're saying they probably won't take it. They don't want to take it. If they're younger, they should probably wait for the more traditional vaccines. Zinc, quercetin, NAC, vitamin C, D, sometimes elderberry. Is that too much? No. The NAC maybe, because that really wasn't clear that was necessary. N-acetylcysteine he's talking about there. The elderberry, I don't really see where it does anything. But, the zinc, the D and the C does. Quercetin helps the zinc for sure. All right. In a major health care system, less than 5% of the employers are willing to take the vaccine. That seems silly to me, but whatever. If you already had COVID, do you recommend the vaccine? No. If you've had COVID, do not take the vaccine. Maybe in a year from now, we'll know what to do in terms of recommending vaccination for people who've had COVID. You may never need to. But right now, it's a definite no. That's not been studied, and it's not recommended. If you had COVID, you're done. You're good, at least for this year, we know pretty much for sure. All right, Susan, it's 6 o'clock. I got to kind of get moving towards this other thing. So we appreciate you guys stopping by, and we're all thinking about Leopold. Let's all give him best thoughts. Whether you are a member or not over at locals.com/Dr. Drew, go check it out and send him best wishes.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
everybody sign up and give him love.
Hopefully, we will have him out of the hospital next day or two. Christopher said Campbell talked about a new mutation. It's not to be concerned about. The media making more of it. It's shocking. The panic porn is running out, so they have to make something out of something else. Fantastic. Hugs to Leopold, indeed. All right, Leopold. Everyone, thoughts to Leopold, and we will be in here tomorrow, Susan. Is that correct?
Tomorrow's Tuesday, right?
Tomorrow is Tuesday.
Yeah.
So around 3:30 or something like that. We'll see.
I think we want to do it later.
Tomorrow?
I have some. I can't.
All right.
Everything's getting pushed back a little bit.
Put it at 4. All right, you guys. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow. Well, I too have struggled with GI issues over the years. I have something called Lynch syndrome, so gut health is extremely important to me. And while gut health awareness has increased, it's led to a wellness trend that's inspired a host of questionable marketing and some false claims. Now, you've seen the word probiotic attached to all kinds of supplements, drinks, even more. They may claim to deliver the healthy microorganisms our gut needs for proper function, but all too often the promises are in fact too good to be true. Thankfully, I became aware of a company called Seed and their flagship product, the Daily Synbiotic. Seed's Daily Synbiotic offers 24 clinically researched strains of microorganisms in a single dose. These strains support gut health and can improve regularity and relieve bloating, sometimes within as little as 24 to 48 hours. To me, what really sets Seed's Daily Synbiotic apart is the delivery system. While some products may offer the right strains, they're fragile, they rarely survive the trip through the gut, doesn't get where it needs to go, but Seed uses a capsule-in-capsule design that helps ensure the probiotic reaches your colon, which is where they often are needed. I've been taking Seed's Daily Synbiotic, and I really encourage you to check out their story and the science behind what they do. To try it for yourself, just go to seed.com/Dr. Drew. Use code Dr. Drew 20 for 15% off your first month of Daily Synbiotic. That is SEED.com/Dr. Drew. Use code Dr. Drew 20. It is officially winter, and even though we're all taking precautions, it is high cold and flu season. Staying hydrated properly is key to helping your body deal with all this stress, and nothing has worked better for myself, my family, my patients than Hydrolyte, the amazing rapid rehydration drink mix you've heard me talk about for quite some time. I've been obsessed with it. Also, in time for cold and flu season, they have their latest formulation, Hydrolyte Plus Immunity. It's become a huge favorite around this household. Hydrolyte Plus Immunity starts with their fast-absorbing electrolytes and a host of great ingredients. Each single serving, easy-to-pour drink mix contains 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, 300 of elderberry extract. They've created a great-tasting formula that's high in antioxidants and zinc. Remember, zinc's very important for the immune system. They've combined this with Hydrolyte's 7 key electrolytes, making this a fantastic way to stay properly hydrated. Hydrolyte Plus Immunity comes in convenient, easy-to-pour powder sticks that rapidly dissolve in water to make a great-tasting drink that has 75% less sugar than your typical sports drink. It uses all-natural flavors. It is gluten-free, dairy-free, caffeine-free, non-GMO, vegan. Hydrolyte Plus Immunity is also now available in ready-to-drink bottles at Walmart next to the pharmacy, or as always, you can find it by visiting hydrolyte.com/Dr. Drew. Again, hydralyte.com/DRDREW. And be sure to use the code Dr. Drew 25 at checkout for a special discount.
Real talk.
Headlines have become sickening. They become poisonous.
Dissecting headlines.
Defying state orders. Sheriff Bianco not enforcing what the governor is saying.
Dialed in with decision makers.
Clarify what you actually meant.
Get the answers you need.
At the beginning of this, we were told, don't wear a mask. Is this really helping?
Expect a different kind of newscast. Fox 11 News Special Report. Weeknights at 7.